Social Doc, interview 19, take 1.
Oh, okay, pimp time, shameless plug.
Pimp it up.
All right, sound bite.
And
Sarah Harmon, also known as Paranormal Sarah. I had a dad who was a Southern Baptist and a mom who was kind of a gypsy naturalist. And early on, it was a household that believed a lot in the spiritual. It believed a lot in the religious realm. So whenever I would have bad nightmares or night terrors or I would see things, it wasn't necessarily, oh honey, it was probably just your imagination. It was, can you tell me what that was about? So for me, it was never anything weird. In high school, I found my passion in psychology, and I started working in forensic psychology. I worked as a CNA at a mental health hospital, and I kind of came to that realization that my intuition of hearing things and seeing things, you know, if maybe you said that to the wrong person, you might find yourself institutionalized. You might find yourself diagnosed with a mental illness. So I started asking more questions. I started going to psychic conferences and paranormal conferences and asking, what's the difference between mental illness? Why am I not crazy and someone else who is hearing voices, you know, schizophrenic? And so at that point, I think that's when my education really kind of started delving into the paranormal. I became a licensed hypnotherapist and started working in past life regressions, alien abduction regressions, and meeting more and more people, more and more researchers in the field, and realizing that this rabbit hole goes very, very, very deep. I think I kind of became mostly aware that people are rediscovering spirituality and the fact that these old ancient civilizations had it right the whole time, not just because science is catching up and validating things like, you know, chakras and Reiki and energy healing and our aura and powers of the mind, but also because we are breaking the mold of our recent generations that have subscribed to Newtonian physics. Nature does what it wants, and conscious energy doesn't have to be confined to any rules at all. And what I love is that in the paranormal community, we fight this a lot, where somebody sees a shadow person or they have a haunting. We can't fit it into the scientific method, but it's still happening. You start with the conclusion and you have to work your way backwards. It's not the scientific method that people feel everything has to be funneled into, where you have a hypothesis, then you experiment, then you write down, and then you conclude. It doesn't fit in that order. We are forced to move backwards. And I think what I love most about quantum mechanics and science is that they're also having that problem, you know, with things like the double slit experiment and the observation theory. Technology has now allowed us to see things in a whole different perception and get down to the very small quanta of life. And at a certain level, things don't apply anymore. Rules don't apply. Newtonian physics doesn't apply. And really, here we are again, finding that it's an awakening. It's a change of thought. I think that that drama and that competitive drive and that hatefulness that you see, that arrogance that you see, it's funny and it's so ironic, because you figure in the paranormal you're dealing with a lot of spiritual concepts and energy and karma and people who are really religious and dealing with angels and demons and attachments. And I used to be a negative person, being somebody in high school who was outcasted and being somebody who growing up and was the weird kid. People were really hateful to me at times. And my dad always used to tell me that whenever you talk badly about someone else, you're talking badly about yourself. And so I remember that, and it really holds true to me. And I've been blessed that the majority of the people that I hang around with and that I'm inspired by are people that agree with me that, yeah, it goes on, but it's a duality, you know? You can't have a light without a dark to put it in, and that's gonna be a part of, you know, the community, because there's humans and that's just how we are. But you don't have to be a part of it if you don't want. I told Sergi from Paranormal State that I would help take photography, and I hitchhiked my way to Pennsylvania with a paranormal group in the state next to me. And I slept on the hotel room floor because I couldn't afford much of the trip. And I don't think I slept that entire weekend, because it was meeting one person after the next, having these conversations where it was like, wow, you're here doing this work, you're here doing this work. And it was almost like there was a unity of a group of people moving towards the same goal, and everybody had a really good intent and a really good energy. And it went beyond a friendship, it went beyond a networking, it went kind of into this family almost of, well, I'm supporting you, you're supporting me, and let's do this. And even though it's not necessarily people that we or that I get to see very often, these conferences are where it's like our family reunions, you know, and we have 4 or 5 of them a year. And yes, there's the entertainment thing that we're doing and to try and make money to fund our way getting there and back. But those moments in between and those conversations over dinner, it provides this unity and this family that it's that extra support system that you need, I think, to keep going in this field. I believe that the entertainment value will probably wear off. The reality concept and the fact that everyone on this planet is going to die. So there is an obsession with death and ghosts and adrenaline. We see it in video games, horror movies, online gaming. It's a momentum. It gets gorier, bloodier, scarier, and it ups the ante. I believe that the paranormal community, as far as the entertainment goes, is going to have to continue with that momentum. People are going to get bored of the same characters. They're going to get bored of the same something making a bang. They're going to get bored of the same reality, and they're going to want to push it. But I know that the education will continue. I know that the spiritual awakening will continue. The United States government is moving in a direction that, as more and more things become apparent, whether or not our country decides to release its X-Files and be more open with its ufology, cryptozoology, and paranormal things, the more and more that science moves and we are introduced to alien species and different planetary alignments and just different things like that, it's all going to parallel with the paranormal. And people are either going to be a lot more accepting, or our government is going to continue to hide quite a bit of what's going on and really put a damper on things. There's so many things. I think the most important thing is stay true to your intent. Imagine it as if everybody could really read exactly what your intent was, and to be proud of that. There's nothing wrong with wanting an adrenaline rush. There's nothing wrong with wanting to be on TV and have a free ride to a lot of money. There's nothing wrong with wanting to be surrounded by celebrities or wanting to write a bestseller book. There's nothing wrong with any of those things. But know what your intent is, be proud of it, and advertise it.